Hey y'all, thought I do a reaction to this Eric D. July clip or video on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And I did watch this before I decided to make a video on this, and I find myself agreeing with him. And this is the right step towards the path. I don't know what to say, but let's get to it.
About me have given me some very needed constructive advice recently. I've had some heart-to-heart private conversations, and for example, one of my bros and Jeremy from G&G, he had to hear from me a lot about that whole Zack Snyder situation when we spoke privately.
Just to give context,
And he
I love it when I pause in people's faces. But yeah, that whole Zack Snyder thing, for context, if y'all didn't know, the Geeks and Gamers, or G&G, were holding some event. I believe it was for the whole Justice League Snyder Cut stuff, and of course, Zack Snyder himself went onto the stream, and basically, Zack Snyder said that Warner Brothers and him don't associate with Geeks and Gamers, and he proceeded to say something like, he has like two uh children, biracial children, or something like that. I can't remember. I can't remember all of it in detail, but I remember watching that live and just thinking, wow, uh, it made me really feel some type of way. But Jeremy did handle that professionally. However, I didn't like what Zack Snyder did and said, and maybe Warner Brothers is to blame, but still, I that was wild. Anyway,
he took it. And like the good friend that he is, he reciprocates, man. And knowing that there's some things that I should improve on, he recently let me hear it. And it was perspective that I needed. And it was also echoed by other people. It's been difficult sort of adjusting to this new reality. I went from being the streamer that was very interactive with even my haters to now the owner of a multi-million-dollar business. And though I've gotten better, I've not completely shook off those old habits. That's part of learning to move differently. And I have to learn to accept that this is a new chapter. That's why I've been saying that I'm moving differently in 2024. The growth of the Rippaverse changed everything, including my own life. The one thing I admittedly do not like are people going after my employees and friends, and our explosion made some people feel.
and he's right. This whole, I'm pretty sure y'all are in the know about this, with the whole cancel culture or cancel pigs, whatever the new trend is about calling them. I call them weirdos or crazies, sometimes crybabies, because that's what they do. They're terminally online. They cry about things that are usually non-issues. The only time I've seen something that was a big issue was the whole uh Bill Cosby stuff and R. Kelly, and ooh, but let's not get into that. Good on him for trying to keep just work focusing. Damn, I cannot speak today. I'm sorry, guys. Focusing on what's important. Hiring the right people who actually can get the job done instead of doing diversity quotas and hires. And if you're, you know, there was also some big, well, I wouldn't say big, but enough so where it was trending on Twitter about the Rippaverse and the Saska twin, Saska sisters, Soskas. I can't pronounce their name. I it's my first time hearing about. Well, not my first time, but it is my first time knowing about what they've done in the past. And dude, I'll be honest, it's not up to me to judge about that. When I saw some stuff. I was like, oh, okay, don't know how about that. But then when I started looking more into it with on Eric's side things, they sent him comic books before, and I could see why. Okay, he actually hired them to work for him, and uh, I mean, so far from I'm seeing, they haven't been nasty people or you know, going crazy on I not as far as I can see. There are some things I do question, but it's not enough for me to say like, oh, this is no deal. I'm no longer supporting uh Eric July or or his friends or that's just it's flat out stupid, man. People, it when he's what he's about to get into, and I know I'm getting ahead of myself. What he's about to get into totally makes sense because ever since his business blew up with the first comic book with earning like well over 3 billion in under a week or in just a week, and this was back in what 2022. Yeah, 2022. It's impressive. It's very impressive, and I like the way how he handles things, where he doesn't have a whole investors board meeting going on. It's all on him and his team to get things right. And I will say I haven't bought a comic book of his. My friend Trey has Trey Mykel. He has reviews about Rippa's stuff. So check him out. I'll probably link his channel in the description. But let's get into it.
Some kind of way. And unfortunately, this means that people will be caught in the crossfire. I have no problem making myself vulnerable with this. But as an example, the Saska sisters have been nothing but awesome to myself, this company, and its fans. I take great exception to the recent attacks against them, and they're being penalized for decade-old, out of context posts. One in particular is them, twins spotting other twins from a set van and tweeting about it. Of course, with horror, there's going to be some things that people find repugnant, and I don't need to defend anything, justify anything that I had nothing to do with. It can be inappropriate, raunchy, and degenerate, but I don't have to disavow something that I had nothing to do with. But some are taking these films that they've acted in very early on in their careers, and they're treating it as if they were real. Everybody that has worked with them, from Dean Cain to Glenn Jacobs, they always have nothing but good things to say about them. And they've grown so much as individuals. I've had those conversations with Jen about reconnecting with God, and those conversations have been amazing. And truly, that's who she answers to, not me or you. You all know how young and dumb I was, so I take exception, again, to people operating as if.
Yeah, and that's a key thing right there. The past. You we we're no we're not perfect. We've all made mistakes. We're all wild back in the day. Some of us are still wild, wild. So y'all know who you are, but I ain't knocking y'all down. But when you get older, you usually get wiser. Usually, some people again are wired differently, but that's beside the point. It's like I really admire what he's saying because I work with artists, different types of artists, and there are some things um I and I'm sorry, they and I talk about, and sometimes there's like these heart to heart moments. It's not it's not like hmm, like we're trying to get into personal business or anything like that. It's just that when you work with like coworkers, you work with someone for a long time, years. It's bound to happen because there's that trust that's built up. They understand what you're like, you understand what they're like, and it's just how it is. It's not. Now I can see if they did something really really crazy, then I'd be like, okay, I gotta get away from you. But I'm taking I'm taking my personal experiences and applying to what Eric's saying because I see that. I don't know if I ever were to become successful. I don't mean like multi-billion dollar business or company. I mean that would be nice, but have doing that transition in my life where I can actually focus on building my business and scaling it upwards, um, there are going to be some moments. I understand that there's going to be some people who might take, I'm not going to say offense, but I might as well. There are going to be some people who will take offense just because, someone's successful and then try to like look into their past 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and say, oh, well, you typed this or you said that or you did this, yada, yada, yada. And obviously, this person is completely different from what they were when they were younger. I mean, it's a natural law of life, basically. And yet they're gonna try this shaming tactic, this gaslighting tactic, just all types of different manipulative tactics to get this person in a vulnerable position, or and that involves lying as well, or blowing things way out of proportion. So it just comes with the territory, I guess, especially in entertainment industry.
Repentance, forgiveness, and growth aren't a thing. Social media mobs trying to claim that there are these satanic feminist SJWs trying to infiltrate is insane. I'll give you another example. They are now against this trans stuff that's being pushed onto these minors, and you can see that maturation yourselves in those conversations that we've had about stuff on our streams. After all, I did learn about them writing Marvel's Black Widow, a story in which Nat takes it to traffickers and pedophiles, which is far more recent a thing to judge them by. It sucks that people are attacking them due to these social political views that they also no longer even have. They are not some raging SJWs, and this has nothing to.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's always politically charged with these people. It's just so weird, very disingenuous, and outright infuriating. It's like, come on, do you have anything better to do with your life? And that's a rhetorical question to these weirdos because they don't. If they did, they wouldn't be terminating online. Just saying.
To do with them, as they are a means to an end. They are being used to simply attack me and having to relive things that they've long moved on from. But I will never fire anybody over social media mobs and will stand by my employees. As I've said before,
And that's a thing too. I will do. I will stand by the people who I actually uh, choose to work with, based on their work ethic and honestly their morality. Again, they don't have to be picture perfect, but to enough where they understand and identify what's wrong and what's right, and they lean more to the right than the wrong.
I wanted to solve economic problems by building this business as well. I don't want people to feel like their livelihoods are controlled by mobs instead of their performance. Even if what I said about these individual politics, if it weren't the case, it wouldn't matter because it has nothing to do with the Rippaverse. We don't do that political hive mind thing over here.
Yep, exactly.
I will work with anybody that respects our vision and our customers as long as they are good for the job. I'm protective of what we are building. Even I separate my personal political views from the content of the Rippaverse.
Exactly, and that's important right there. If for y'all paying attention, creators especially, separate your political views from the content of what you're creating. Or else you're going to fall into the pit of where Marvel and DC modern writers are at. Hell, just the companies themselves are at. Because it's not only affecting their comic books, obviously, it's also in the movies, the shows, and also these characters, where they're coming up with these new characters that are not doing so well because of obvious reasons, especially with the promotion. I'm no marketing guru, but I mean, that's a basic fact. That should be something that's well known, but sadly, I guess not.
Find the irony in an ANCAP creating a superhero cop team like Alphacore. Everybody knows to leave it all at the door, and should personal views get in the way of business, they won't be here. We can't really be infiltrated. I'm the 100% sole owner. We don't have a board, and we bring people in based on merit. However, I'll never be a fan of cancel pigs going after people that work for us or with us. They don't deserve that. This has even happened with content creators being roped into foolishness that they want no parts of.
And that's crazy too. I forgot about that. Even if you're even if you just leave a message or just leave a video, and you're not all into the whole spectrum of what's going on, and you just saw this one thing, immediately these weirdos are quick to label you as right wing, conservative, blah blah blah, racist, misogynist, the whole buzzword cliche. uh it's like, dude, I'm just making, these people are just making videos. I'm just making a video. But we'll see how this goes when I publish it.
I started this company to fix problems and have a return to normalcy. I can only control what I can control. I have a lot more clarity, though, in what I need to do. I've reached a status that transcends anything I've done before. I'm going to be loved, and I'm certainly going to be hated. And people are going to make up some wild things about myself and my company, and there's nothing I can do to really change that. Lies claiming that I've attacked other creators that I never did, lies about me attacking economic models that I never did, lies about our company's cash flow and funding. There's nothing I can do to really change the perception that some people have of me. They'll conjure up whoever they need me to be for their own narratives.
Yep. Again, that comes with the territory. But, the sad thing is that hopefully, well, it's not sad, because hopefully there is a chance they might grow out of this and actually start seeing the truth and man up and take responsibility about it. But that's usually in this day and age, not a lot of people want to take responsibility, let alone own up to their mistakes.
So here's what I'm going to do. I need to fully embrace being the owner of a multi-million-dollar business. And I need to show that with my online interaction. Some people are not going to like it, or it's going to take some time getting used to, but this is a much needed evolution. The tone for the Rippaverse is set by me. I need to do a much better job of facilitating enthusiastic, engaging conversations and highlighting those that want this fun sandbox. My primary interactions need to be with fans. Positivity needs to be the key. Again, not everybody will understand this, but it's what's best. The people that deserve acknowledgement are the fans and the supporters. So I'd like to personally apologize, first of all, to my employees, current and future, contractors as well. It sucks that if it's your turn, you'll eventually have to deal with unwarranted hate just because you work with us. And fans that publicly support us will sometimes be harassed. And that's why fandom is so important, because you have each other's backs. I also want to apologize to all of you for being far too loose, because I can do a much better job in focusing on these fans. I take full responsibility for that. The monetize your haters era, that's been done for like 10 months. And now we're moving into a different era. Some of you have been big fans of Isom and Alphacore. And if you don't like either of those, that's fine too. You're free to that opinion, and criticizing doesn't make you a hater. Perhaps there will eventually be something more up to your speed as the Rippaverse grows. If not, that's fine too. But fans, this is about you. I thank each and every one of you for this welcoming fandom that you've helped build. I appreciate you going to bat for myself, this company, and everybody in between. You should be rewarded for your efforts. The best way that I can do that is to improve in not only my creativity, but with these engagements and my contributions to this fandom. It'll be a little weird for everybody, like I keep saying, but It's what's best. I'm going to take my own advice and get even more focused up.
And you know what? I'm just gonna let this
There's a
go.
lot of work to do, and it's time that I act like an actual publisher that's building a media company, not a YouTuber. 2024 is the year of greatness, evolution, reinvention, and having an absolute blast.
And that's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And I find myself in a similar boat. Obviously, way less money, but the passion, the mindset is there. Not too long ago, I don't know if y'all follow my Twitter or X, whatever the hell it is now, whatever you want to call it. I made a post on my account saying, why did I say that? It's a post. Anyway, I made a post basically saying that I'm taking away all the NSFW artwork, pornographic renewed, because I came to a point where, you know what, the unfortunate reality that minors are on Twitter, they're on these sites, and I just saw something today while at work. You know, big tech, big tech companies um, are like, I guess they're under investigation right now about exploitation of children. Children coming across this stuff, and uh, it's I'm not trying to say like I'm censoring myself, because I'm not. I don't. I would rather just put my stuff, the real stuff, behind a paywall, and that's not me being greedy. That's me filtering out the possibility of minors coming across my stuff, and there's a whole ruckus. I don't want that cycle. I don't want to perpetuate a cycle where these kids are coming across, and it just disturbs me, man. It really does. It disturbs me because I came across pornographic stuff, content, when I was young, and that I'm sorry, I'm getting real. I'm getting kind of real here, but sorry, I'm a little bit choked up. I came across that stuff, and it really messed me up for several years. I don't want that at all. I don't. I couldn't. I couldn't, man. It would tear me up inside if kids came across what I make, and no, I would rather just put it behind a paywall, or keep it in a small group of adults. That's it. That's it. But the reason why that's relevant is because there's things to focus on. I'm focusing on doing that while also working on these projects. This my debut novel, which I'm almost done editing. I got one more chapter left, and then the epilogue, and the epilogue's only like 1 or 2 pages. But I got that, and I gotta send it off to a second beta reader and have them look over. Just make sure it's all fine tuned. This is a process. Self publishing is it says it's in the name, self publishing. Basically, a one man army or a one man job, really. And this is something, if y'all have been watching me for a good while, it has taken me so far for since 2021, 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. And I aim to release that book this year. Now, last year I aimed to do that, but I wasn't ready, and just I put myself way ahead of things. Um, and now, knowing what I know now, against my previous year, of myself, there are things I caught, and I'm just like, yeah, this needs to be changed up and reformatted, and this and that. But I'm preparing that stuff, man. I'm trying to understand it, how to go through this process. It's the first time that I'm doing something like this, but I'm excited. That's what keeps me going. And it's also the potential fans as well and potential customers. There's no surprise to me when it comes to money. Not saying I'll do this for $1 or anything, but I have I have tested out different tactics of getting people interested in my works, and what I've seen, it has worked to a degree. That's just the way of the beginning, right there. Figuring out what works and what doesn't. So with this, I aim to not only advertise it for 3 months before I release the book, but I want it to be 100% completely done. That's my thing right there that I focus on, being 100% done before I give it, before I market it. Why? Because I'm tired of people putting out, and I gotta look at this as a customer too. Think back as a customer. When I see people put out these little concepts that look cool and are very intriguing, and you put money into them, it takes years, man. It takes years for them to actually get that one thing out. And that's if there's no setbacks or complications. Things can happen within a span of a few months, let alone a year or two. I know because I had to wait 2 or 3 years for something to come out and to finally get it. Now, luckily, it was worth the money I paid, but to bring up great examples other than Eric July, I got Brian Polito or the guys who worked on Common America. Just they're able to bring this stuff out faster than a lot of indie creators, and of course, obviously, they have the resources for that. While people like me and others don't, but the best thing I could think of to prevent that having your customers wait years for something to come out is to have be working on other things as well. And that's what I'm trying to do with this whole shift in focus. Once I get once this book is out, then another thing will come out and another thing come out, and that's my game plan for this year and a little bit of next year as well. I am working on. Let me think. Let me think. I am working on 4 things right now at the same time. That's right. I am working on 4 things at the same time. Call me a liar or I'm crazy, but I have a goal in mind, guys. I have a goal in mind where I may sound like a mad dog here, but I don't want to be a 9 to 5 guy, and I'm not downplaying the use of people who have to work these jobs. I understand these people, man. I live it. Almost, I'm sorry, not almost. I live it every day, and that's what gets me fired up. Is because there's opportunity. Now, opportunity comes in the different forms, shapes, and sizes. But this is what is for me. I believe in it. I wholeheartedly believe in it, and I want to entertain people. Now, I might have a niche market, and how to acquire that is another topic on its own. But we're in some times where entertainment is dull. Why can't I entertain people with a new perspective? You know, it's that's all it comes down to. If the people believe in my works and they believe I'm worth the hard earned money, you know, let's make a deal right there. I give you what you want, you give me what I want. I work for the people, not for a company or a corporation. I work for you. You, the customer. because that is what makes my day. And I can't wait to make yours. Wow, that's a good slogan right there, huh? Anyway, I really felt what Eric was saying, and I know this is a 30-minute video, but man, I feel I feel the passion, dude. And I hope I didn't give y'all like a wrong signal here or anything like that. I just want to be better. I want to improve my life. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all want to improve your life, and you're taking the necessary steps to do that. Unless you're, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But seriously, that this is my commitment to y'all, to bring that book out, to bring these projects out, and to make sure not to spread myself too thin, but to keep my stuff balanced and steadily progress. It's hard. It's a hard, it's a tough road, and I know, I knew what I was signing up for, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned along the way, obviously, and this is what this year is about: getting to work and getting stuff out there for y'all because y'all matter. This is D Rhino, and I'll see you later. Ciao.